Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking to you about loving yourself. Like I said in a lot of my videos on this channel, everything that I share with you is something that I feel like I'm constantly telling myself as well. And I think that in light of Valentine's Day and all of the feelings and emotions that this holiday can trigger for some of us, I really wanted to talk about this. And for me, Valentine's Day kind of marks an anniversary for me of my journey of self-love. That might sound very mysterious and strange. I hope that at the end of my sharing my story with you, that you all walk away with something that inspires you or encourages you, uplifts you in your own journey to learning to love and accept yourself as you are. So with that being said, let's get into my story. For me, my journey began probably when I was in elementary school, even before then. I have memories of playing with other children and feeling excluded in one way or another. And those memories really stuck with me for whatever reason. I think that some of us are more sensitive to being excluded than others. Some kids just brush it off, get over it, and move on. I was not one of those kids. I really took it to heart and never really forgot those moments. So probably around 8th grade, I was about 13, 14 years old, probably 13. I really was serious about trying to fit in at that point in my life, and I did whatever I could to try and fit in and be liked and be accepted by people. So it was a lot about my appearance, how I talked, how I walked, what I wore, who I hung out with, those types of things. And I tried really hard to make sure that I walked within the lines that were going to give me that acceptance. Long story short, although I was in the accepted crowd in high school, I still didn't feel accepted. I still did not value myself enough to look at myself and be okay with myself. I had my first boyfriend, and he just kept telling me how amazing I was, and he really made me feel like I was something really special. It was like the bait on the end of the hook for me. It was great for a little while. We had our ups and downs in the relationship for multiple reasons, him and myself. Ultimately, though, ended very badly. So, walking away from that relationship, regardless of how it ended, what I walked away with was this vow that I made to myself, basically, that I will never let anyone walk all over me again. I will never let someone make me feel like crap again, ever. I know what I'm worth, and I'm confident. And so I kind of entered the next chapter of my life from a really confident perspective. I went away to college and met new friends, met new people, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, and it really seemed that issue for myself of not believing what I was worth really seemed to have subsided. It sort of went dormant for a long time, which made me believe and made me feel as though it really wasn't an issue anymore. I was like, yeah, I totally know what I'm worth. I'm a confident woman. I got this. I'm good. I'm good to go. Forwarding about 3 years into our marriage, and I hit something around that time in my life that completely shook me. Completely shook me. Something really unexpected, and I was just not prepared. I thought I was prepared. I thought I could handle anything that came my way. I was super confident in myself, but this thing just knocked me right down. And it really brought to light that area of my heart that I thought was healed actually wasn't. That the area of my mind and my heart that I thought had this whole self-love, self-worth thing under control, really I didn't at all. That in an instant of something changing in my life, that self-worth plummeted way down all of a sudden again. And I was like, whoa, I thought I had this under control. I thought that I knew my self-worth. I thought that I knew how to love myself well. I thought that I would never let anyone or anything change my perspective on that again. And To be honest, guys, I really wasn't as confident in that area of my life as I thought I was. And that was the evidence in my life. It took something really hard to like knock me down in order for me to see that weak area in my life. I would not have seen that weak area in my life if I had not been knocked down by it. So in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, because for me, it really made me hone in and like pay attention to that area that I was like, if I want to live a life that is like happy and not so easily influenced by everything that's coming at me on a daily basis, I have got to get myself together. I have got to figure out what it means to love myself, and I have got to figure out, where does my worth come from? Because so far in my life, all I've seen is that it comes from whether or not people at school like me or don't like me, what they say, what they don't say. Do I get invited to a party? Do I get invited on a date? Do I have a boyfriend who everybody thinks is really awesome? You know, all of that determined what I was worth. Basically, I felt like I got this mental picture of my self-worth. That for years, if you could look at it as like a graph, for years the lines were up and they were down, and they were up and they were down, and depending on what the circumstances were, that would depend on whether they were up or down and who was talking to me. And wow, let me tell you, what an awful way to live. It is exhausting. If you can relate to this at all, you know how exhausting it is to live your life that way. To one moment feel like you're on top of the mountain, you're the best thing ever, you're amazing, you're so confident, and you feel so good about yourself, and then the next minute you're like, boom, rock bottom. Who am I? I don't even know anymore. What do I represent? What am I good for in this life? Like, I don't even know. So if any of you can relate to that, just know that you're not alone, that I totally know how exhausting it is to have those ups and those downs in believing anything about myself. Am I good? Am I not good? Am I acceptable? Am I not acceptable? Am I a good friend? Am I a bad friend? Am I whatever? You know, you can put a million labels on yourself to be good or bad of anything, and it is exhausting. I do not recommend living your life that way. And that's why I'm sharing this story with you, because I feel like I have kind of come out on the other side of that in a lot of ways, to see now that that is not how I want to live my life, and I don't have to live my life that way. So I feel like I got this new picture of a new graph where it's like a flat line straight across all the time. And you know what? And I'm going to be really honest, guys, that this is like God's perspective of me. Everybody always told me, oh, your identity is in Jesus. Your identity is in Jesus. And I'm like, yeah, it sure is. But I'm like, I really didn't know what that meant. And I really didn't honestly like grasp that for myself. So I'm sharing it with you because it's something I'm super excited about, because it has totally changed my entire life. It is one of the reasons that I can do a YouTube channel and not be afraid and not be insecure of what comments I get or how many likes or dislikes I get or whatever. I'm like, in a lot of ways, like, yes, I'm still human, and it's still going to like maybe shock me when I see things or hear things. However, it's not going to stop me from doing the things that I feel really passionate about doing. So there's a straight line straight across, and this is God's perspective of me and my worth. And he says that it never changes, that it never goes up because I'm better one day. Someday, oh, Abby did really good today and she worked at the homeless shelter. So, you know what, Abby, you're really good today. Like, wow, you're so valuable. No, it doesn't work like that. And you know what, that might sound bad because we like the idea of earning something. We love that idea. And then on that line, you know, if ever I really mess up, if ever. Like, I never mess up, guys. Come on. Like, I mess up every single day. I'm a mom. Any moms out there? Like, if you're a mom, you know what it's like to mess up. You know that you've never seen the worst of yourself until you're a mom or until you've taken care of children. Like, I've never seen myself so awful in my life as I have since I've been a mother. That's just the honest truth. Okay, and so, like, let's say I really mess up, and I'm looking at myself and my behavior and thinking, oh my gosh, who am I? and it's just like that self-worth just like plummets again. It doesn't work like that. And God is like, Abby, you are valuable. You are so valuable. There's a price tag on you that can't be matched, that can't be even mentioned because it's so high. It could never go up and it could never go down because you are so loved by me, period. And the big point here is he says to me, Abby, I created you. I created you. I determine your worth. Not Joe Schmo, not Johnny across the street, whatever guy you're dating at the time, or who you marry, or the pastor at your church, or your neighbor down the street, or your sister in Bangkok. It doesn't matter who you talk to, what they say to you, what they don't say to you, what they do to you, or what they don't do to you, okay? I created you, and I have created you with an immeasurable worth that can never be changed. It's a straight line, solid, and anyone, they can scribble lines all over your graph if they want to, but guess what? They're all void and easily erased. So I feel like that's the story that I learned. That's my story that God has given me, and it's a huge lesson that I have learned. And honestly, guys, it gives me goosebumps. I don't know if you can see my goosebumps, but I have goosebumps just talking about it because I'm so passionate about knowing your self-worth and loving yourself. And guys, I think that in today's culture, we have this idea of what self-love is, and it's like, take yourself to the spa and make sure that no one ever walks all over you, and, you know, love your body the way it is. And that's all good, guys. Like, yes, do those things to pamper yourself and to take care of your body and your mind and your spirit and all of those things. But at the end of the day, if someone else's actions or words are going to impact your perspective and feelings about yourself so drastically that you can see those lines going up and down and your worth is changing based on those things, then going to the spa and, you know, going to the gym and all that stuff that we call self-loving really isn't going to make a difference. It doesn't matter how you walk or how you talk down the street. It doesn't matter what you wear if in your heart you don't believe it. There's like this intrinsic thing within us that we know who we are. And I think that throughout our life, sometimes that thing that should be intrinsic actually gets very clouded by lies that we believe about ourselves and lies that we believe about the world around us. And it is up to us, the people who love us, to seek out what the truth is. For me personally, I find my truth with Jesus and with God. That's where my truth is. That's my mirror. That's what I look into daily to see who I am. And yeah. So I don't know what your mirror is. And that's something that you have to figure out for yourself. What is the mirror that you look into to know who you are when you start to doubt it, or your mind gets cloudy with the lies that are fed to you and you're bombarded with every day? I mean, we get lies all over the place. You see them in the magazines. You see them on the TV commercials. You see them in movies. You see them with your next door neighbor. You know, oh, look at their car, so nice. Look at their house, so nice. You see it on Instagram. You see it on Facebook. You see it everywhere. There's things that we see that make us believe things that aren't true about ourselves and about our life and the world we live in. And we have got to remind ourselves of what the truth is. So where does your truth come from? That is so vital to living a happy, successful, vibrant, and passionate life, is knowing where your truth comes from. Some of us just know it. Some of us, it's in us and we live it out, no problem, every day. But some of us, if you're like me, we struggle. We struggle with that a lot, and we've got to find that place where we find our truth. And for me, I need that mirror every day to look into and say, who am I? Who am I? Because everything else around me clouds that vision. That vision, looking into that mirror and being reminded of who I truly am and what my worth is, that it's constant, it never changes, is so important for me being able to continue to move forward and upward, forward and upward, and progress and be better and stronger and smarter and more successful in every area, in every area of my life. So, yeah. Wow. Well, now that I spilled my guts to you guys in my preacher mode, for those of you who enjoyed it, I thank you. And I'm glad. For those of you who were like, oh my gosh, does she ever shut up? Sorry, not sorry. Ultimately, though, I have not met each and every one of you. But if I did, oh my gosh, I would love you. So if I could meet every single one of you, I would want to sit next to you, put my arm around you, and tell you this truth. I'm going to cry. I would want to tell you what you're worth. Because it's true. Doesn't matter how you mess up. Doesn't matter how awful you've been told you were. You're not. You got to believe the best about yourself, guys. I say it over and over and over again, and it's so true, and I got to tell myself, and that's why I said, where does your truth come from? You've got to know where your truth comes from, and for me, I know where it comes from, and it's up to you to figure that out for yourself. I'm not going to tell you where to go to find that, but I know where I go to find it for myself. And I love you guys, and I want to see you all rock it, man. I want to see you just rock it. Whatever you're doing, to rock it, to kill it, to go out there and whatever you do, to do the best at it, to be excellent at it. And to do that, you gotta be confident, not just this outward confidence, but this inward knowing of who you are, and that no matter what comes at you, your value, your worth never changes. Doesn't matter what happened years ago. It doesn't even matter what's going to come in the future. That right now, your worth is the same, and it's going to remain the same from the day you were born to the day you die. It never changes. All right, guys, I could go on and on and on about this. I love you guys. I hope that today, regardless of where you're at, what you're doing, who you're with, that you have a wonderful Valentine's Day and you find just a moment to reflect on yourself. What do you really believe about yourself? Where does your truth come from? And how can you be learning how to love yourself, accept yourself, and believe in your own self-worth a little bit more each day? If you have not started this journey yet, I want to strongly encourage you to start now. Start today. Let today be the beginning of that journey for you. Let this time next year be the anniversary, my 1-year anniversary to my journey of self-love and self-worth and learning what that means and what that looks like and what it feels like, because I want you guys to have a rich experience with knowing your self-worth and loving yourself and accepting yourself. Guys, the entire world will see you shine when you begin to know yourself and love yourself and accept yourself. I love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.